when I read the bio, Sub-Zero and Scorpion. So how did you develop their moves? What was that
So,
process?
so before when John took the conception package. So there were videos, there's drawings and just ideas, and he presented that to Midway. And so they agreed to send a manager programmer to meet with us for and hear about the rest. So John was like, "We only have one chance. This is before we got turned down. What is your what what's your best idea?" And I was just like, I was really heavily into Chinese martial arts, and two at the time, it was the era of Shokashugi with Japanese ninjas were all over the place, and I was just like, John had a drawing and he wanted Japanese ninjas in there, and I was just like, no, everybody's doing Japanese ninjas. Let's make this unique and put in the Lin Kuei and the Chinese ninjas. And John was like, I've never heard of that. And I was like, right. Hardly anybody is, unless you're heavily into Chinese martial arts, nobody knows it. So that way they look completely different than a Japanese ninja. Their armor is different. You know, they just don't wear the black uniform. They actually have the black uniform and armor on top of it, you know, the Chinese armor type thing. And I described it and I showed him a book and he was very reluctant to put it in until I told him, well, you know, you agreed that, if, you know, during the thing, during the pitch, he was like, you know, we're not going to be able to pay you too much. So any ideas you have, I'll put them in the game. And I was like, John, you said any idea that I have, we can put in the game. And I think this is a solid idea, you know, and you should put in the game. And John was like, oh, okay. He didn't want to put in the game, but luckily for him and Midway, he put my idea in the game, and it
Yeah,
became the face of the franchise.
yeah,
Basically
yeah.
those characters are the face of the franchise.
And you have Sub-Zero, and based off of just that, Lin Kuei is Sub-Zero,
Scorpion,
Scorpion, Reptile, wouldn't Shadow,
Smoke,
Noob Saibot,
yeah,
Smoke,
yeah.
all of those. Now in the later games, they kind of diversified those off a little bit, but there was a midpoint where there was a ton of those characters based off of the Lin Kuei.